What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down how wide receivers can run a perfect fade route. Let's get started. Now, before we get in this video, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you would like a daily on-field workout schedule that you can do, check out that very first link in the description below for our 8-week wide receiver on-field workout plan. It's over 200 plus wide receiver route running, press release, catching drills, all mapped out with the exact sets and reps for you to do, and we show a video example of each drill, so it's easy to understand and easy to follow. So if you guys would like some more information on that, again, check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get back to this video. All right, guys, so today we're going to be talking about how you can run that fade route, that go route, streak, however you want to think of it, versus different coverage looks. And we're going to be giving you guys exact drills to work on those different coverage looks. So the first one we're going to be going over is how would you run a fade route versus an outside shade press coverage DB. Then we're going to talk about how you can run a fade route versus zone coverage, outside shade, give you a drill to work on those skills, and then some different press coverage type drills as well for this fade. So this first one, like I said, is outside shade press. So we come up to the line of scrimmage. I line up here, quarterback's to the left of me right here, and that DB is lined up outside shade. So when he's outside shade, his sole purpose with that type of coverage is force us to the inside to his safety help, and his goal is do not get beat to the outside, which is ultimately where we have to run, which is a fade route. This would be the same idea as like an out route, a corner route. We need to give the quarterback space to the outside, so we cannot force the release. Now, I want to make this clear. There are two types of fade routes. There's a mandatory outside release fade route. Some people refer to that as an MOR, and then there's just a regular old fade, streak route, whatever, where you could take an inside release if needed. That's the situation we are working on today. A mandatory outside release route would be like outside receivers running a fade, slot receivers running like a 5 or a 10-yard out. So our goal with the outside release is to get the DB to turn so his back is turned to the out route, so the quarterback has an easier read because he'd be reading the corner. So that's that MOR, mandatory outside release. This is not that situation. So this drill is like, again, outside shade. If he's trying to take away the outside, I can't force the outside route. If he's outside shade and you just try to take off and go run, and you don't have to get to the outside, he's just going to wall us to the sideline. On that 5-yard out fade play, if he walls us to the sideline, great. We could throw the 5-yard out underneath, and that's an easy completion for the quarterback. But in this case, we want to get the ball. This is like a 4 verts concept, or maybe you don't automatically have to release outside. So this drill, you're going to line up here. You need 3 cones, and then you need a taller cone, some kind of object. You could use a football. I don't like a towel on this. I used to do this with a towel, but sometimes with the towel, guys will stop their momentum, and you'll know what I mean. But what you're going to do is you need like a C pattern, if you will, of cones. So this is the starting point on the cone. You need a cone lined up like a DB is outside shade. Then you need 2 cones right here to give you a path to get skinny or restack on the route. So guys, if you take an inside release on a fade route, you have to stack. If you're running a fade and this DB is right on your outside hip and you're not over the top of him stacked, you lost the rep. So we cannot take an inside release if I do not stack. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to be working on a release that attacks the DB's outside leverage. It's called a wide step release. Some people refer to it maybe as a jab release. So you're going to be lined up here, right foot's up, left foot's back. All we're going to do is going to take something called the kick step. So a kick step is where your back foot kicks behind your front foot to load up your hips, right? So you load up your hips, you jab. Now we're going to try to stay tight and dip my shoulder and pick up the taller object, the cone, the football, whatever it is, and then reassess yourself back over the top of the DB, quote unquote. So this helps us get skinny. This helps us stack over the top when we take that inside release versus that outside shade press. So I'm going to show you how this drill is going to look full speed. All right, guys, now we're going to be going over a great drill that you can use to work on running a fade route versus outside shade zone coverage. So a lot of people, I should say, think that, oh, well, if it's zone, I'm not going to be getting the ball anyways on a fade. Guys, think about it if it's like cover 3, for example, right? You have a single high free safety, both corners are off, and maybe they're like taking away the seams from the 2 slot receivers. You're on the outside. All the quarterback has to do is hold that free safety, and if he's confident you can get open, that's honestly a touchdown because you're going to get some space, and we're going to be going over how you can do that on this. So the best course of action versus a cover 3 DB and you got to run a fade is using a move called a vertical set. So a vertical set is like, let's say, for example, the camera where this is right here is like the DB. I'm lined up right here like a receiver. You're outside shade me about 8 yards away. So I got to run this fade route. I obviously don't want to just try to run around you, right? Because it's no different than that press coverage look that we just went over. No matter how close or how far the DB is, his leverage responsibility will always stay the same. So if he's outside shade press or he's outside shade zone. That means that he's trying to take away the outside route. So I can't just try to run around him. If you just try to run around him, he's just going to widen and squeeze you all the way to that sideline. And as we know, when you're a yard away from the sideline, that's not enough room for the quarterback to fade us, and that's how we're inconsistent with this play. So what we got to do is we got to try to step on his toes. So like I said, the camera is the DB. I'm running up. I'm trying to step on his toes. Bam! I want to give him a move to the inside because, again, a DB is a DB. Like, he wants to try to jump a post, jump a dig, get a pick. So if we can sell like I'm running this post, that's what a vertical set is. It's a hard cut with the inside foot, trying to draw this DB down. Then we can slip behind it at, like, quote unquote blind spot to get around him. So this drill, simple drill that works on that single step. So you need a series of 4 cones. They're going to be about, maybe I'd say 3 yards apart at a 45-degree angle. So you're going to start with your right foot up. You're going to do that same kick step to get some momentum like we did on the last drill. So you're going to kick. You're going to keep your hips square, facing forward the whole time. You're not going to turn towards the cone. You're going to be here. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. As soon as you hit this, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And the third step of that, like, 3-step rhythm at each cone is to work on that vertical set. You want to be stepping, most important on this. You do not want to go 1, 2, 3 and step lateral, because that's not how you would do the vertical set while moving full speed on a route. You want to step at a 45-degree, which is why the cones are set up at a 45 degree. So I'm going to show you how this drill is going to look full speed. This is great for running a fade route against that zone coverage look. All right, guys, so the next scenario we're going to be going over is for a, like, goal line fade. So this isn't necessarily a drill. This is more so like a press release that you guys can use, but you could work it like a drill. Like, honestly, with press releases, what I'd like to do a lot with my wide receivers is I like to just rep out the press release. Like, we do certain drills to work on their stick, their crossover, their slide, whatever release we're trying to work, but repping out the press release is how guys get the most comfortable with it. The drills have to be realistic, but a lot of times just repping it out is the best course of action. So when we have to run a goal line fade or maybe even a slot fade, usually what you'll get is you'll get a DB who's lined up like 2 to 3 yards inside shade, sitting on the goal line. We know he's not going to backpedal. So it's the same thing, but the opposite of when we have a DB who's outside shade, right? DB who's outside shade, what routes is he trying to stop? He's trying to stop the outside routes, like the out, the corner, the fade. When he's inside shade, he's trying to stop the inside routes. So if I have to run this fade route, I don't want to just run away from him, because his goal is to prevent the inside route and force me outside. So if you just take off and run, you're pretty much doing his job for him. So we have to threaten him with an inside route, because that's the best way to get him to move or get him to hesitate, so we have more space for the fade or for that jump ball goal line fade. Okay, so this release is going to be like kind of a, I think of it like a 4-step release. So you're going to be lined up here. So this first cone is simulating the line of scrimmage. This cone to the inside here is like the DB who's maybe 2 to 3 yards off. So the steps of this release, the first step is going to be with your back foot. You are going to punch with the back foot. So it's like a cut almost. So you're going to take this punch with the back foot, and then you're going to reach with the front foot. So that's how you get to that DB's leverage. That's how you close the space and attack him. So again, we punch with the back foot, reach, then we're going to take gather steps. So these 2 gather steps are just to get your feet back under your frame. And then all we're going to do into that is work a simple crossover. So then it's going to be right, left, trying to sell like we're going slant, and then it is a race back to that back pylon. So again, to recap, we're going to be going over here. Left foot's up, we punch with the back foot, punch, reach, gather, crossover, and then we're out. Now, if you're very advanced on this, you don't necessarily have to take the gather steps. Gather steps are more so for the guys who aren't as comfortable. I would like to eventually eliminate the gather steps, punch, reach, crossover right away. I'm going to show you how this drill is going to look, or this release, full speed. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you would like a full 8-week wide receiver on-field workout schedule that you can do, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to get you on that. I'll see you guys next time.